Hello everyone, this is Mr. Katyusha, and today I have another NTW3 video here. So I'm playing as Bavaria today, with two Swedish allies. Over here we have Russia, Prussia, and I believe it is Saxony on the flank over there, with some cav sending them around. Swedish cav and Prussian cav have met each other here. Some lifeguard units here, some heavier cav on the flank, C3. But 2 C7 on the flank as well, so some light cav. On this flank, really light cav. Russia is also sending over some cav, which right now they outnumber the Swedish cav, but they have a lot back here actually. Sending them in. Some carabiners here, C3, so pretty heavy but slow. Some more carabiners there. Some dragoons, C7. So they probably could beat Russia and Prussian cav right here from a straight up fight, but I don't know, it'd be interesting to see. There's some lancers over here, looks like some Ulanski, look like they're possibly Polish. C7 on the other flank. Their cav is charging over at mine, which was doing some scouting, some hussars here. They have hussars charging me as well, and they're quicker. Actually, we're the same speed. I rush up my cav to protect them. So Saxony has some cav. Haven't shown all of it yet, but could be a close fight. I don't know. I'm also keeping my artillery secured with my unit of chevaliers here. So most of my infantry still marching up a little slow on the road. I forget about some of my units when I'm marching on the road. The Saxons have taken quite some troops, and put them in the building here. Some grenadiers, only 107. We are fending off from some of the lancers here with this square. Over here, actually, the Swedish and Polish cav are fighting. Swedish cav is not doing so well against the Prussian cav here, but doing okay. One unit against two, still holding off. Actually about to break two units by itself. Really good there. The Swedish have broken some more cav, are going to help out on the flank here. Doing pretty good. The Swedish have won this fight over here, but they do have some troops moving into the buildings now. Some Jaegers, it looks like here. So the Swedes have won the cavalry fight on the flank here. The Prussians are moving up. Russians are taking the center here where not many troops are, so we have to be careful there. The building there's been a fight for, but looks like the Swedish have taken some casualties and are falling back. My cav, Saxons are setting up their cav. Now I didn't bring any heavy cav. Most of it is just like chevaliers or dragoons, nothing really too heavy. This is probably my heavy scav right here, my dragoon taxis here. But they have cuirassiers, which could probably take out two or three units by itself, along with some hussars here. So all of our troops are marching down the road now. Bavaria is probably, in reality, one of my favorite factions. I love them a lot. Really cool faction. I play as them a lot. Just a cool flag, you know, cool uniforms, all that. But also they have pretty strong infantry. I mean, it's not super strong because they are a 8-player faction, but it's always fun to play as them. Their cav isn't really, I mean, a lot of it, the better cav that's heavier, which is pretty good, is really expensive. So usually I don't bring them. I just bring some of the medium cav and the lighter cav. Also I have some artillery here, just set up. This is horse artillery, 6-pounder. So not the heaviest. Not really the 12-pounder, a bit lighter than that. We are causing some damage to them here, taking out quite a few troops on the hill here. Doing some damage, even though we can't see them, we are still firing at their troops. The rest of my infantry is moving now. They're a bit slow again. The rest of my infantry has moved up here. Looks like there's another cav fight. The troops here, the Swedish cav, goes for the general, and actually who is right here, I think. They're pushing through their lines, going through these troops, taking out some infantry as well. And they kill the general that quickly. The Prussians here have already taken a very bad morale hit there, while the Swedes have only wasted a C8 unit, which actually escapes out of the battle. I mean, while they are damaged, they've only lost 5 men, and will be able to retreat there. without actually breaking. So really good on the Swedes there, really good movement with their cav. Now the Prussians did have some cav, but overall the Swedes could beat them with their numbers as well as some heavier cav. Looks like the Prussians or Russians might have some troops defending their 4-pointer here, which I don't know. This is not an LOC map, so never mind about that. I'll show the map here. So the Prussian forces are trying to attack a hill, but they're going to fall back. The Swedes were quick in taking the hill. Pretty good there with the Swedes. Now we are the red, which is kind of... The map gets mixed up between colors, but our troops are red, theirs is blue, which I think anyone who has watched a replay before or anything might probably know that. So they're forming a line at the edge, at the base of the hill, taking casualties though from the cannon fire. My cav has still not attacked the Saxon cav, so we're still able to do some damage, but I'm really worried about the cuirassier unit. That's 134 cuirassiers right there that could easily take out even my heavier cav on the flank here, which is still not really that heavy. So in terms of my army comp, not the best. I'm moving my cav out to see if there's any more cav hidden, which I believe there is, because they had 2 units earlier. I think they have 2 hussars and 1 cuirassier unit, which is a C2, so really heavy, slower, so I can possibly maneuver around them, but even still it would be really hard to take them on. Here we go, here's the cav fight. They're charging their cuirassiers, which hopefully they tire out before they get to my lines. I can hear them yelling, so I'm moving my cav out to the sides here. But they're sending in hussars. They have chevaliers, so C6. They have more cav than I do on the flank here. Charging to the cuirassiers, not a good fight there. They take out my chevaliers. I might be able to beat their hussars, but overall it's still tied, which is not good. Chevaliers against hussars, losing to them, not the best outcome. I need to retreat my hussars out of here. There's so much cav here, and pretty good cav. A lot of chevaliers and cuirassiers and hussars there. So, not the best fight. Take out the hussars here. Hopefully, I can take out at least one of their cav. But horrible, horrible outcome for my troops there. Overall, just not the best. I don't even know if I can take out the hussars. If I can't, that would be really, really sad. Well, at least I break the hussars. My cannons here are going to start firing. Hopefully they can break some of the troops here. I believe they do fire. They fire right into the backs of my troops. Not the best. Yeah, my cav starts to break there. I've lost all my cav in the flank. I'm moving troops around that can form square. I gotta retreat Karl Philipp von Wrede out of there, which is my general. They're going for my flank, but luckily, quite some troops in my flank can form a square. It looks like they're going for his artillery here. And so he forms a square, gets his artillery out of there, we push up our infantry. We really need to protect whatever artillery we have left, because losing that artillery there was not the best. I fully pushed up all of my Bavarian infantry here. My general's getting in there. Right now, for Sweden and Prussia, it's not really stalemate, so I'm really going to focus on on our side over there, Sweden and me together on the flank. Looks like they're getting some cannon shot over here, but our cannons outnumber theirs here. Quite a few 6-pounders. I think they're all 6-pounders. But some good horse artillery also forming up on the flank. All of it is 6-pounders, really good. Forming up some spikes here, a good entrenched position here. Ready to take on the Prussians in front of them, as well as some of the Russians coming through the center, which Sweden has accounted for and has moved troops into the gap there. Saxons are to the front here. Now some garrison, I believe, so like kind of a militia. Not really great infantry, so most of this infantry I believe isn't really the best. I don't think that they don't have any like super great infantry. My troops, while not all of them are like top notch, they can still probably hold off the Saxons. So it's kind of like a Germanic civil war here between the Saxons and and my Bavarians here. Swedish fighting Russia, I mean, not super unusual, not super weird, and I don't know, Prussia and Sweden, just, you know, European powers fighting here. My general is holding behind the houses. I don't know, just make sure he doesn't die. Saxons are forming up there. I'm forming over here. We're just trying to hold this house, trying to hold this position. Sweden's doing a pretty good job of helping me being there with me, especially with this cav, because we need a lot of cav support. I move up my infantry to actually reinforce his lines here. So just helping out where I can. The troops here are actually a skirmisher fight between some Jaegers. I believe, yeah, so all Jaegers here, some Prussian Jaegers. Taking casualties though. Close to breaking. Looks like they retreat back though. His cannons are definitely doing some damage to these Prussians, which means that either they have to push up and take out those cannons or they have to retreat out of range. But 6-pounders can fire pretty far. Even 3-pounders, not the heaviest shot, but they can definitely go quite the distance. But yeah, some pretty good cannons though. Some pretty standard cannons up there. 6-pounder is like the standard. 12-pounder is like pretty heavy. And then if you play as like the Mamelukes or Ottomans, they have some really heavy guns. I believe I was playing against the Mamelukes with a friend one time. They had a 56-pounder cannon unit, which was pretty crazy. Some 12-pounders behind stakes here, just like the Swedish have done, but the Swedish, they have a lot more artillery here. Like Napoleon said, the one, I forget what the quote is, the army with the better artillery, the God is on the side with the person with the better artillery, something like that. But looks like Sweden has better artillery there. I don't know, the Chevrolet Gears probably weren't the best choice because not only are they the fastest cav, they should have sent in some hussars here. They're getting tired already too as well, and the Swedish are just going to push up their infantry to take out this unit. My general is taking a casualty from a stray bullet, it seems like, or an intentional shot from this house. Now, houses in this mod, you can hold off 5 or 6 units. If you have a really good 2 or 3 units in a house, or maybe even less than that, they can still hold off quite a few units of troops, which is really going to be a problem for Sweden here. We're going to try to take the house, but I would not recommend, if there is a house, deal with their army first before charging in, because you don't want to lose half your army and then in a line battle lose to the other faction. So right here we are going to form our lines before Saxony actually can. Though our flank there is still forming up, sending some of my troops to hold the flank out here. I'm also sending a unit that can form a square over to protect my flank. Sweden versus Saxon Cav here. They're very tired. The Swedish carabiners are not, even though they are heavier. They are already wounded from some of my units, and they're going to take casualties here. Really taking out this Kirsteer unit and a lot of their Saxon Cav will really go a long way to help us win this battle here. Our Bavarians are already firing into the Saxon infantry here. They're taking some casualties, not too many, but still doing quite a good job against them. The cav here has gotten sandwiched from both sides have gotten sandwiched by other units of cav. Sweden is sending in some really fast cav here. Some C7 coming into the flank. Now, this unit of carabiners has done a great job of holding off a lot of the troops. They're going to go in the flank there. Some hussars in the flank though. The road making them really fast. They're going like the speed of a car. Really quick there. My infantry, I'm going to try to match the Saxon lines here. I have about 10 units. I believe it is 10, yes. Okay, so I have 10 units, and they have about 10 as well, so... really close fight. I believe some of my units are smaller than theirs, but I outnumber them in some areas. So pretty even fighting. But overall, we just got to be really careful with how I advance on their lines, because I'm the whole flank here against Saxony. Though Sweden and, well, both Sweden seem to be doing a pretty good job against Prussia and Russia, that even if I lose the flank over here from Saxony, it looks like they're being pretty passive and probably won't push. So we will be able to hold our defenses. The Swedish have actually taken the house. They're really good on them, not really losing any units. I believe they lost, like, possibly 1. But, I don't know. They did lose some troops taking the building, but they have taken it anyway. Saxons have retreated out of it. And just doing a great job here of holding them off. Firing from the magical holes that have appeared in the wall. I mean, I guess that would be kind of cool to have holes in a wall, but I mean, that's pretty crazy stuff. These guys' morale is already dropping without even taking 1 casualty, just staring at my Bavarian troops. Very threatening here. Swedes are actually sending up troops to reinforce my lines. I'm sending all of my troops. I'm no longer paying attention to the Russians because they're not pushing. I'm moving all of my troops to deal with the Saxons here. Who actually I do believe they have some troops in reserve back there. 4 men left, that's it. 4 men out of 107. The grenadiers that were in there have retreated out. So Saxons actually did not leave the building on command. They lost basically everyone in there. Swedes are pushing up with some of their Jaegers here. They're faulty Jaegers. Probably trying to do some damage. These troops here are actually some of the most elite that the Russian have. They're playing as the Lib guards here. The most elite of the Russian army. Holding the flank here. Pretty smart. Probably against cav charges or things like that. Yeah, a lot of units that can form a square here on the flank. Probably a very smart idea. Sweden are going to hit them. They've lost some troops here. Not a severe amount, but a few troops can really decide a battle here. I'm going to push, careless of my casualties. I'm going to fire into their lines here. I cannot let them escape. They keep retreating, which is kind of annoying, but it makes sense. They are outnumbered here. I advance my men to fire. Probably should have just fired from there. I'm going to form them up into the flank of the Saxons, though. They keep retreating, and it's very annoying. But anyway, we're going to move into the road now. We are pushing on their flank here. We do outnumber them, units-wise, and probably numbers-wise. Sweden has my flank here, so good movement from him. Defending against any of the musketeers, some Prince Clemens troops here. Saxons, I've always loved their uniforms. Pretty cool looking uniforms there. These Jaegers have approached really close to the lines here. With the range advantage, he should probably back up a little bit. He's really close, firing into the musketeers here. Yeah, these cannons here are starting to take a ton of damage. Already down 10 men, which in an artillery fight is a lot. The Swedish have a cav advantage here. Firing off their shots into the Prussian lines. Well, you can't see them, but they do have a lot of troops over here that they're firing at. As you can see, the red lines, even though they're not there, if you keep them targeted and the unit disappears, they still fire where the unit is at. So, cool tip there, I guess. See what these troops are doing. They're far away with their same unit, I believe. Well, different name, but they probably still have about the same range. See, here are the Fault Jaegers retreating back, knowing that he has the range advantage, can fall back to fire into their lines from afar. Because the infantry will overpower your troops if you do not, line infantry will overpower your skirmishers if you do not stay away. He's moving up some of his more elites here, his infantry. All of them can form a square. So while the Russians do have an elite army, just like the Imperial Guard for France, it always comes down to numbers. I mean, even if you have an elite army fighting a bunch of militia, the militia can still win due to the fact that you can just basically surround their flanks, their army, their front, and still have enough troops to push through them. So elite armies are good. I'm not saying that they suck or anything, and not that the player sucks. It's just that the units are very expensive, and while they are very high quality, numbers always, not always, but numbers will usually win in the battles. Like I showed you before when I played as the Spanish France in another battle, another video where I lost due to the fact that the Russians just had more numbers. The unit is charging in here somewhere. I don't know what that was. Oh, never mind. The Russian cav comes in, actually losing morale from charging a skirmisher unit here of Swedes, but overall, was that the best trade out? These unit of infantry are going to break a unit of dragoons that would have been really well reserved for artillery or something like that. We're now taking a lot of casualties here. They break, doing some damage. They've taken out quite a few troops, but overall, it might have not have been the most worth it. Sweden still has quite some units in reserve here that he can push up to defend. Swedish cav not aware. Saxon's gonna charge them in the flank. Carabiners, they're gonna get. Actually, they might actually be able to push off the hussars. No, they break. Hussars are taking quite some casualties, though. They're still taking casualties. Okay, so he breaks the Hussars while his Carabiners do break. They were very tired. Well, they were wounded, but they were very, very wounded, very low in health. Lots of good cav battles around the battlefield. Not good, but very high in casualties, very intense battles. His cav charges out of the lines, gets around the infantry before they can react. They do form a square, but this will slow them down. Now they're taking fire because they're in a very thick formation, taking lots of fire from the Swedes here. Great move by the very quick C8 unit here that has actually taken very few casualties. Gonna charge them around, probably looking for some artillery. Oh, a big unit of artillery here. 12 pounders. There's 4 cannons. If he gets them, that'd be a great move. The only thing he has back here is his general and a unit that can form a square, which is not good. Not good. He's gonna get around these guys really easily. Coming up towards the cannons, and he gets right into them. He formed a square, but not the best move. While he might be able to break the unit of cav, he has definitely inflicted a lot of damage onto the cannons here. They break, so a great charge by the Swedes. I think he knew that his unit would not survive that battle, but he has won it there, taking out cannons. Very valuable unit up on this hill here. Very great position, but not enough protection. Sent out his Russian cav to be too aggressive. Should have held back a unit to hold his cannons. Not a bad move, just a... being aggressive is always good, but to keep a unit behind in reserve is usually better, just to have your units available. Positioning is always key. He's sending out... he had heavier cav, which I like to keep on my cannons just because they're slower and can react slower, but still will do damage and are better defensively. Charges them in, but his units can form a square here. Actually, a lot of these Swedish infantry here can form a square. Not all of them, but a ton of them. Pretty good army comp from Sweden. Now, I've never really played as Sweden. I never really liked them too much. I mean, not that I don't like them. I just don't really bother to play as them ever. But still a very interesting faction. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Just depends on how you build your army and how you use them. I don't really know the strengths and weaknesses of Sweden. They seem to be a pretty good all-rounder here, especially with their skirmishers, winning a lot of skirmish fights there, as well as with cav. Pretty good there. Cannons aren't the best, a lot of 6-pounders, but quick, so they seem to be okay. Their infantry is okay, so pretty good all around. Bavaria, I don't know what they're focusing on, even though I've played as them quite a bit. I mean, they have good infantry here, some good grenadiers. Overall, they probably have good cav. I just never really pay attention to their cav because it's pretty expensive, the heavier it gets. We're actually forming in his flank. He's not retreating them. Okay, now he's retreating them, but we're going to get into his flank. Again, in this battle, he outnumbers me by quite a bit. Not by a ton, but he does have some reserves. But a lot of them are just this garrison unit here, which is like basically just militia. Look, they're so... they don't even care. They get shot in the back, and they will not care. We're going to fire into them now. I just press fire, just fire into them as quickly as possible. I usually do that if like cav is charging me or something, so that way they fire off quickly. They're taking some casualties in the back here. Actually, it looks like we missed all of our shots. Come on, Bavarians. Anyway, we're going to push into their lines now. We outnumber them in the center, but Russia does have some tricks up their sleeve, which you will see later on. They're losing some troops. Now, Prussia does have a lot of militia, and while they're not the best, they do have some of the better militia in the game, so pretty good militia. A lot of them can actually, well, some of their units can actually form squares, which is pretty impressive for a militia unit in the game. I mean, in real life, it's probably easy to form a square with your troops to get trained. It probably didn't take that long to train to form the square, but still interesting. He has some of his, I don't know if this is militia or not. I think it is militia because it says milis, so I have to guess. Firing against some Jaegers here up on the hill. Some of those Jaegerski. And I think this is his general here. Some Jaegers as well. Russian Jaegers are actually pretty good. pretty standard units. While they're not like long range, they can still do some damage. Pretty good unit for the core of the army. He charges some of his troops that retreated earlier. So I fire into them. Hopefully I can break them, but it's not looking. Why are you running at them? They did not fire. That was really bad. They have not lost a single man yet. Well, they lost one guy. I gotta form up quick. My troops on the flank here cannot form the square, so really bad on my part. A lot of my square forming units are in the center. He charges down his infantry. The Swedes are retreating. His cav actually diverts and goes for, I guess, the back of the Swedish lines here, but they can form square, so I don't know what he is doing there exactly. The Saxons actually charge down on me, but take heavy casualties. I believe it is so that way he can relieve his infantry there, up there, his Saxon troops. I'm going to try to break them. My Wilhelm infantry here is doing some damage to the musketeers, the Saxon musketeers there. But they're actually winning, looks like. Sends in his cav again. Not looking good at all. I'm trying to fight off this grenadier unit, but really not going the best. Really bad on my part, not having any units that could form a square there on the flank, because I otherwise probably would have been able to hold off the cav, which is doing a ton of damage. I'm losing a lot of troops over here. The Saxons are just full out charging me now with the Russian cav. The Russian cav really diverted my attention and allows him to charge here. Losing a lot of my men now. While I still outnumber him over there, he's got a lot of troops here. I can't hold out against all of them. This is going to be really bad. Our troops are starting to run. He's taking out most of my flank. My army is in ruins here. With the Russian help, I don't think he would have been as successful or had the urge to charge me there, but that aggressiveness there was really great. So while it really sucked for my army, I just got to give some kudos to the Russian and Saxon players here, doing a good job. While it was kind of a double team, whatever, it was still really good play there. Utilizing the cav and infantry together to take out my troops. Don't charge in your general though. Hold back a little. Now we are breaking some of his units, so while this isn't a total defeat on the flank and we're still able to hold off some of his troops, I've lost 5 units here. Now I'm losing a lot more troops, but we're still holding off pretty well against his men here. We're doing a pretty good job going back and forth between red and orange. Hopefully we can break some other units. We're breaking quite a few though. He has lost quite a lot of men. But now that Sweden has fallen back, Russia can divert their attention back into attacking me, which I do not need right now. So really good fight there. Very bloody, but my Bavarian soldiers with only 3 units or it was more than that, but the 3 units over there have been able to hold off their units pretty well. If he charges in his cav, we'll probably just form a square, kill them off. Then I'll be able to deal with his Saxons, hopefully. But we are still outnumbered on the flank here. We are doing damage though, but wow, that was pretty loud. All he's got over here is basically just militia and very cheap units of his infantry. So Saxons and my troops there, kind of not really decisive results. Both sides have taken really heavy casualties, but overall the push there really took out a lot of my men, and he still has some units left. I'm still doing quite some damage though in the line battle. I'm kind of winning the line battle here, but he did really win that aggressive attack there. So many casualties from that battle. Russians didn't really lose that much, so pretty close. Pretty good battle so far. Over here, Sweden and Prussia and Sweden, I haven't really shown too much of them, but they just kind of been going back and forth with artillery and their units pushing up, firing, and then kind of falling back into a line. So not too much going on over there. Back over here, though, is where the interest is. Though I'm losing basically all of my army right now, but I'm gonna fall back up to this hill here and get whatever advantage I can get. I form up a little bit shorter. I don't want to fall up all the way back and lose units. They're starting to run now. I cannot afford any loss of time. Time is of the essence here. They got a Jaeger fight still going on in the midst of this battle here. This is militia here on the flank. This is a battle of quite a lot of militia, but not too much militia. A good mixture of troops here. I mean, come on, Bavaria's got some nice uniforms here. Very nice hats. I mean, probably not the best faction, but still a very, very strong, not a strong faction. I just said they weren't the best faction, but they are a pretty solid faction. They'll do okay. So this was a pretty small battle, actually, in terms of points. I'm an 8-pointer, and Sweden, there's 2 of them, so that's 2 9-pointers. So not a lot of points. I believe Prussia's a 9, so Saxons are an 8, so an 8 on an 8, so very even battle here. And the Leib Garda for Russia is also a 9. So the excuse me. So the points there are very, very even. Prussia is still taking a lot of casualties. Oh my god. When will the skirmisher battle end here? They were firing at each other, and now they just went for a straight up charge. Prussia's starting to move up a lot of their better units here. While they have some their Pomeranian musketeers. I always think of the dog when I say Pomeranian. And some of their reserve musketeers. A pretty good unit here. 1st Regiment of West Prussian musketeers there. So some pretty good units. Their 12-pounders are back here. They've moved up. Their artillery is probably a little bit heavier and better than the Swedish artillery, but they have a lot of better units. At this point, a lot of my units start to actually come back from routing, so we're doing quite some damage to their Swedish troops, but again, it's very even here, very balanced. His units also come back, but my troops are so far away. This is cool. They come in through the smoke here. While they do call off their charge, it's a very scary sight. We fire into some of their horses. That was a really cool shot there, though. That charge into the smoke. Very, very cool. Our troops are still shooting into their lines, doing some damage here. Let's see. They're seeing some casualties there. Some bullets flying into the camera. Man, the Swedish, both armies are very worn down, but the Prussians here, see, this is also the problem with having too much militia, which, again, Prussia has a lot of, militia, and usually players will use a lot of the militia, but, jeez, both sides are very worn out here, very bloody, battle, and not really distinctive lines, a lot of spread around, a lot of casualties spread around the battle. Yeah, so we're getting reduced to quite a few units here. I have 4 holding out in this kind of weird U shape here. They're starting to encircle me. I should be able to hold out against them. I think he's trying to charge me. I don't know, maybe he's just running up right now. This cav is exhausted, so very good for our units, but our troops are trying to run. Really not that good. Really, really bad. He's gonna charge me here. Mass charge into my poor troops. I'm gonna charge him back. Try to do whatever damage I can. This is the Beethoven unit right there, the Ludwig. No, I don't even think he was from the Bavarian area. I think he was from, like, I don't know. He's from somewhere near, I believe it was near Austria. I don't know. Let's not get into details, because I'll probably end up being wrong and I'll sound stupid. The Grenadiers here, though, my thing is that a Grenadier unit always has to go out with a charge, which I don't know if I do it. Just so that way they can inflict as many casualties as they can do with their specialty before they die. Ah, headshot there. Poor dude. There we go. I go in with the charge. Get in there, boys. They'll probably get killed. Yeah, they retreat there, but at least I kind of did charge before I retreated. Russians and Prussians now are going into full force against the Swedes. No, I don't think the Prussians are aware that if he moved up his infantry, he could probably push the Swedish lines here, because most of his infantry has actually moved their troops here to the other side. So many dead horses. The poor horses, man. They didn't want to be in this war. Poor, poor horses. A blank sign. Actually, no, there's a random painting on it. Okay, in Napoleon Total War, do you think this is a bit weird that they have a random painting hanging near a door out in the middle of the countryside? Or not a door, but a little post there. I find that very weird. So I start to retreat my units here. The Ludwig unit has retreated. So, good on you, boys. Their morale is dropping though, so not the best. Some of my better units that can form a square retreating here. First, Loewenstein. I have 2 of those units that have actually survived the battle. Saxons have taken very heavy casualties. You can see right here, all those white coats, well, most of them are, well, basically all of the white coats here are the Saxons, while the blue grayish coats are mine. So they have taken very heavy casualties there. The general's just sitting here looking at all the people. I don't even know what he's looking at. I guess he's looking at the Swedes over there. Whatever. He's now that the Saxons have kind of dealt with my army, even though a lot of my troops are coming back, and his morale's low, and so are his troops. It looks like more of his healthy units are actually going to go move out and help the Russians here. We're holding the hill. I believe this is his general, though. I think his general's in this unit. I don't know. Because it has a name and then it says it's Jaegerski in parentheses. So, I don't know, but then that means he would have died because there's no general here. There's no commander, so I don't know. Here's some lifeguard over here. Some Finnish. Finlandski? I don't know. If anyone can speak Russian, tell me what that means. But I have my general still sitting in the bushes. Probably a little bit irritating. Swedish are bundling up all their troops, holding down, ready and preparing for the Russian advance here. I have 2 of my units. My grenadiers are retreating back. So my grenadiers are not out of the fight yet. Everyone's just really tired though, really exhausted. I think both sides are, just from the melee fight there. Yeah, all their units are tired too and exhausted, so very even. It's been a very, very, very even, very close battle. My troops are retreating back to the bushes here, where I'm going to hold out most of my infantry here to hold off the Saxon approach, as well as help my Swedish allies with the Russians here. We have some 6-pounder that has moved up into this position, but have lost their horses, so I don't think they can unlimber, but very close. Probably in range of, well, if the Prussian lines got any closer, probably be able to fire off some canister there. The Prussian artillery is still firing though. They have 2 12-pounders, it looks like. Yeah, they have a 12-pounder here, and they have a 12-pounder over there. So 8 12-pounder cannons, very, very good cannons. The Swedish cavalry, not Swedish cavalry, Swedish artillery though is still very intact still. So good on them. Firing at some Polish infantry here, taking quite some casualties. This is one of their more elite units here. Not more elite, but you know what I mean. They're a bit better than the usual infantry. Can form a square pretty quick. L3. West Prussian musketeers must be good. They're from West Prussia. We have some of the Pomeranian reserve musketeers here, so I guess the reserve musketeers aren't really the best. They're probably like more recruitish. Haven't really seen too much combat if they are reserve units, so I don't think their stats are as good as the normal troops. I'm running because I have to get out of here, or I will get shot down by the Swedish troops here, or not the Swedish, the Saxon troops here. The rest of our troops are falling back. My general is staying here, right in this corner, this small wedge here, because I need all the morale I can get. But Sweden has been very helpful this battle, so whoever was playing on the side, comment down below if you remember the battle. I believe at the end it shows who was on my side, so I might be able to figure out. But in the battle it was kind of confusing because it said there was 2 Swedens, so I don't know. But Swedish You have done a great job this battle. Okay. Also been very helpful for my troops because, you know, Saxons just gotta be better, you know? I'm going to kill this unit. I'm gonna shoot all of my bullets into this one unit. They've caused a loss for the very proud Bavarians. Shoot them. I form a square. How do you like that, Cav? How do you like it? They're taking casualties. Very, very many casualties. We are holding them back, and I really hope we can kill every last one. Those aren't psychopathic thoughts. Those are angry revenge thoughts there. My general even charges in. So tired of these guys. They break. Finally, that unit is dead because they are very annoying. He's sending in his general, which I also want to kill. Because why not? That would hurt their morale really bad. They have died. We have killed them off, but they have done quite some casualties actually to my square, which is pretty surprising. Not super surprising, but there would be less casualties. Anyway, we're firing into their troops as they retreat. Hopefully they don't come back, because if they do, we'll just kill them again. But the rest of my infantry is going to retreat back up to this hill, where it's less flat and there's more land. I believe we do come back down though. I don't remember. We're just trying to meet up with their lines. This flank over here looks to be pretty low in troops. 56, 58 in one unit, 56 in the other. The rest of the units are close to 100, in the mid to high 70s. Man, the Swedes and the Prussians are still going at it. Wait, what is this? Swedish cav comes out of nowhere and takes out the Prussian artillery here. If the Swedish take... Wait, no, don't charge the unit, please. Okay, that's good. They should go for the other unit, but that is a slow unit. So they had to walk. I'm guessing they walked around all the way, but that's very far, and also not getting discovered. Better charge those 12-pounders. So now that the Prussian artillery has been taken out, they can't really camp, which, I mean, technically they're not camping, but technically they are, because they've been sitting just going back and forth with cannons both times. I mean, both sides are kind of camping, but since Sweden does kind of have a better advantage on the hill, they kind of have a right to camp, I guess. But camping either way can be a little bit boring. But anyway, the Swedish here taking the initiative, making this a good replay, and taking out the artillery here. And now the Prussians are forced into an attack there. Man, why the Russians gotta bully me? They sent 3 units over here against my measly little 5 that are already pretty much dead. Actually, no, the Swedish come in time, saving my butt once more to defend my flank from the Russians here, who are still going to shoot my troops. Form up on the flank, getting ready to fire into the Russians here. I'm going to hold off against the Saxons, which I probably won't survive this battle. And neither will my general, most likely. Maybe. He might. I forget. I think he does survive. I don't remember. He does something cool. But we will hold off against the troops. But we are losing a lot of infantry. I'm going to wait until they are able to do some damage to the Prussians, so that way they can move over troops, deal with the Russians, then deal with the Saxons later on. But right now it's looking very, very grim for my army. Actually, I think my general does die, but the unit survives. I don't know. Something like that. He's in the gray coat there. Very boring compared to the rest of his troops. One of the other guys died. The Saxons are still marching. That's weird. We're just going to fire into their flank here. I should actually just charge them. I should have done that. I should really just charge them. That would have been amazing. Just charge them right in the flank. Get right into them. But we're going to shoot from a distance because I can't afford an attack. Musketeers and my line infantry, my kinkles here, going at it. Okay, there we go. There's the nice charge. Good job, guys. And they can form a square in case the general wants to charge. Swedish getting very easily outnumbered and outgunned there by the Russians. I'm going to charge right into him. If he tries to attack my units, I'm just going to send my general to go murder him, which actually have very even numbers here. Going right for the general. We get right into his flank, taking out some of their units, but my morale is actually starting to drop, which is not a good sign. That means my army just sucks. I'm also shooting them in the back, so not really fair. Our generals are going at it. They're at 12. It is evened out now. Get him. His general's all the way sitting in the back. My general's also sitting in the back. We have to kill his general. If we have any chance at really hurting the Saxon army here, we have to crush their general, kill him, and lower their morale severely. But my troops are actually starting to do a ton of damage. We are about to kill off the Saxon general, but look, the Russian general is thirsty for some fighting here in his green uniform. You know what we do? We charge the Russian general, and if we kill him, my army will be the saviors of this battle. Look at that. Look at that. We did not kill the Saxon general, but right like that, one of the only of the 6 guys that have died in this unit was the general. We have killed their general. The Russian morale is trash right now. The Saxon morale is trash. We are going to kill their army. And guess what? My general is a savage. The dude is still alive. He is a hero. He is a legend. He's gonna become more famous than Napoleon in the history books. But my grenadiers are forming up against their lifeguard here. Wow, that was quite the maneuvers there with my general and my infantry. We have broken a large portion of the Saxon army. They only have 3 units left. They only have 3. That is it. And the other one over here, but they'll probably break after I kill them off. We are taking out the house. Where are the Prussians? They have actually broken. I did not realize this. Actually, I think they retreated. I think they did retreat. But they have taken heavy casualties. A lot of their troops have, most of their troops, actually quite a few have broken. But I was thinking this is probably not all of the infantry they have, because that would have been really crappy if they got beaten without me even looking at them. But they only have a few units here that have broken, so I'm guessing there are more Prussians. But they've moved most of their troops up to the army to support actually hitting the Swedish. They are surrounded, but they are holding very steadfast here in the flank. The Prussian guard here. Look, my general runs over, takes out the last of the Saxons there. Oh my god, my general is crazy, dude. He keeps going. He is still alive, has not died yet. I'm guessing he probably dies at this point, which is very sad. If he survived the battle, that would have been amazing. But my troops are losing spirit. They're losing spirit. I was gonna try to have him form a square, which he didn't, so that way I could charge him, which really doesn't do good. My general runs. He does not die. Hopefully. Please don't tell me he dies. No, get out of here. No. If he dies, I'll be very angry. No. God darn it. The dude dies. Carl Philipp von Reed could not survive the battle. But that man is a legend. He will be in the history books forever. Maybe not forever, but for a very long time. Until the world, until all humans die off. Then he can't be in any history books. Okay, so never mind. The Prussians are maneuvering back. The Russian army is actually starting to take very heavy casualties. They cannot hold out against my boys. My Bavarians are crazy. They're thirsty for blood. They don't care what happens to them. They just want to kill some Russian, Saxon, Prussian dudes, okay? They are ready for the battle. Actually, I just realized that the Prussians are also German, which means there's half the armies in this game are either like from that Finland, Russian, Swedish area up in the north, or they're from Germany. So very close area actually. So this kind of does make sense. Swedish are fighting their neighbors, the Russians, which technically had Finland at the time, and the Prussians, Saxons, and Bavarians are fighting. So very cool. My troops break. That's pretty much the end of my army there. So not too much left. I'll be watching of my army because they're all dead, obviously. But the Swedish here are holding very, very strong. Now they are outnumbered. But they're breaking the Russians here. So the Saxons have all been defeated. So Bavarian and Saxon armies are the first to go. So again, kind of everything going together, very evenly matched here. Was just a matter, I think the cap battle in the beginning, it was really the beginning that set it, and the army comps overall. With the Swedish cav taking the position very quickly, and the maneuvers as well, but their cav really took out the Prussian cav early on, really did a number on them. But very good battle. The Russians and troops are still holding out, actually, on the same position where the Saxons once fought me. Swedish moving out now. The Swedish and Prussians here is literally, it's like World War I. They have moved like very few feet from where they were first fighting. Their lines were set up here near the house, and now they've only moved up a little bit, but staying in the same position, really haven't tipped over. Whereas in the flank you can see here the our troops, which are in the red again. Oh my god. Swedish Cav. Swedish Cav have really settled this battle, actually. Swedish Cav really have made this battle that much more interesting. His lifeguard units here, breaking troops in the flank, doing a number, yeah. Prussian infantry breaking left and right here, losing tons of their morale. Prussian skirmishers charging into a unit of lifeguard here. Point blank fire there. Dude got shot right in his chest. Point blank. Poor unit. I feel bad for whoever sent them into battle, because that was... I feel bad for that unit. Swedish actually still have units in reserve, all the way back here that they've not moved up yet. The battle's pretty much settled at this point. Prussian army, basically half of it is dead or retreating. The rest of their troops are moving up. This unit got broken alone with a few hits of artillery. Their units are at the very tipping point here. I said very one too many times. Okay, you guys are facing the wrong way. There we go. Okay, they're gonna set up fire into the lifeguard here. This is the saddest gunfight I've ever seen. 66 troops versus 42. It's they barely together make up 100 men. Very close. Again, I'm saying very way too many times. Russians are pushing up on the Swedes, though. They're losing quite some troops, but they are sending in those reinforcements there, which should be able to hold out. With the Prussians defeated, again, the Swedish can actually relieve their forces on this flank. Have taken out the lifeguard. They might come back, but they've taken a lot of casualties, so probably not. Half their unit is dead. Usually once they're at half or below, there is a small chance that they will actually come back to fight, especially at this point with their general dead. Most of their army is dead and gone, so not really much they can do at this point. Really close battle though. At the end of the day, not really anyone's fault. No one really slipped up really badly anywhere except for me in the beginning with my cav. Really, that wasn't even my cav's fault. We had them there, but they just outnumbered us, had heavier cav. I know I'm making kind of small excuses, but it is true. Okay, I was outnumbered. They had some good cav. The Swedish here winning their artillery fight, mainly because of their cav helping out there. Again, the Prussians lost to the Swedish due to the Swedish having heavier and faster and better cav on the flank. So it really just came down to army comps in this battle. Really close though. I mean, the Prussians could turn it around, but at this point in the battle where half, they've lost their generals, the Russians lost their general, Saxon lost their general, not really much at all they can do. Swedish doing tons of damage to the Jaegers. Really close fighting here. Why are they shooting so close? I guess it works pretty well though. They're gonna move up. The whole Russian army has retreated. Now all that is left are some poor Prussian souls here. Some of the Pomeranians holding the flank here against the troops across the field. They retreat though. Doesn't look like they're holding anymore. 3 units versus 1. This is really not fair. I think they have like 3 units for every one of theirs. About 3. Just some quick math, you know. Maybe actually 2. 2.5. I don't know. Just putting out numbers here. The rest of the Swedish army is moving up to support their other Swedish army. Geez, quite a battle here. Quite a battle. Lots of casualties, but the Swedish here really doing a great job. Was it my best battle? No, but was it a very close battle? Did I do okay? I did okay. Now I'm answering my questions and I sound probably pretty stupid. That is the battle. Oh my god. Actually, never mind. That is not the battle. They have a unit that was staying back here the whole time. The grenadiers that were, I'm guessing, in the house. This is a, I don't know, it's probably like their HQ or something, but in this battle it doesn't really matter because it is not a LOC map. Oh, but there's a unit of pioneers that have come from the flank and taken out the artillery. Though it doesn't really matter at this point. Wait. Oh, I thought that was a cannon unit there. I was like, wait. Looks weird. There's two guys with guns. But anyway, I'll just fast forward it. Oh, actually, the time runs out. It says it's a draw. We won. Okay. We definitely won the battle there. But great fight. I'm going to thank all the players. It was a really fun fight. Albert there helping out, met Drew Hammer really helping, really great battle though. Simon Lancaster, one of my friends, flintlocked as well. Very great battle. The other side have lost very high casualties. I've actually lost the least, oh no, never mind, sorry, not casualties. I've killed the least amount on my team. Prussians, they're taking a lot of casualties before they could actually kill enough from the artillery, so really close battle though. You can see how the numbers kind of match up here, kind of cancel out each other. Very close battle though. Prussians, the numbers must have meant that a lot of their units were really cheap, which means their stats probably weren't the best, which is kind of probably why they lost. They had the number advantage, but the Swedish, deploying almost 1,000 less than them, were able to beat them just due to the fact of the cannons and their experience, and their cav also helping a lot with taking out a lot of the troops. I want to see how many my general killed, because that man is very, very amazing. My general actually beats out infantry units, and, well, my cav kind of sucked. He got 11 kills. Okay, that's not the best, but 2 of those were, well, one of them was a general that he killed. He did die, which is very sad. RIP 2019 Carl Philip von Ried. But very close battle, very close. My units actually didn't get that many kills, but very, very great battle. Again, I'm going to thank all the players for playing. Really fun battle. And anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.